Good afternoon, Antrim County. This is Veterans Voice Podcast with your hosts, Matt, Brandon, and Carrie. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
What's new?
Friday.
It is another Friday. Yes, that is so true.
And it's nice out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not snowing. It's not raining. We're getting lucky.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
I think all the snow is actually melted out in my area now, finally.
Yep.
Thank goodness. Now it's just a bunch of trees
Yeah.
you got to take care of.
Right. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
broken trees over there.
I was going to say, you're going to be doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Man.
But you know what? Like, speaking of that, though, during the occasion, of course, you identified people that were having issues with, like, the electric and the hookups going from the power line to the house.
Yeah.
Right, and then getting charged and everything like
yeah.
that. And you know darn well, nobody's really set up to do that kind of stuff, like as far as expense-wise, because we were talking about anywhere from $400 to $600 and something per connection or whatever, and then having
terrible.
it, then you got to get the permit on top of it, which I don't know how much that is, like $200 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then I reached out to MVTF to talk about that and whether or not they would help underneath those conditions, because nobody, is set up for that or have saved, or it's unexpected. It is a,
Emergent
act of
need.
God,
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that they don't cover it because it's under a state of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad mouth and MVTF, because they've definitely helped out,
Right.
with vets and stuff like that. But in this instance, it's just one of those things where, the state's declaring an emergency, right? But the emergency is not really going to cover Antrim County, as we talked to, like, Matt Adamick and
Right.
stuff, and
So,
emergency services coordinator and stuff. And I haven't heard anything come back as far as what Antrim County is going, if we even qualify to be reimbursed for certain things other than the road commission, right? Because they do that. But there's a certain level of damage that has to be done to a county in order for them to be qualified for
right.
that program. And even at that, it pays for like $400 and something, $600 something per residence.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
So it's kind of a kick to the groin for those vets out there, or just people all together, you know what I'm saying? They are faced with that and not being able to get electricity until they get it paid and everything. So just going around with that cleanup and, because then on top of that, you got that expenditure.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
People have called asking for help with yard cleanup, or if there's something set up, we don't have anything that we know of. I wish we did. But yeah, it's like they don't really necessarily ask for it, but they want to know if there is something. Yeah.
So, well, yeah.
It's a new thing for us to figure out.
Yeah. Because, shoot, the last thing you want to do is get a bunch of people with chainsaws to go to their house and accidentally hit something with the tree,
Right.
'cause that's the reason why
That's
they
what
have
it is, yeah.
arbiters that, are covered by insurance and, just in case.
It's just so touchy. Like,
Mm,
of course, we want to help everybody and figure out stuff, but yeah,
yeah.
something to talk about.
It's a rough one. My neighbor got affected by that.
Yeah.
He called me up after I just got power, and he's like, "Why don't I have power?"
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh, man." And sure enough, I talked to the guys out there, and I had to call them and let them know. And it's like, yep. Whole reset up. I had to pay
Oh, jeez.
It's like $400 to $600. Like you said, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't even live here full time,
Right.
Oh, man.
Bummer.
Imagine the people that come back and haven't been here for months.
There's a lot of buzz on the Lakes of North Facebook pages. Like, a lot of people called and are having neighbors go out and check their property and take pictures from them and stuff like that.
Good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So,
Our neighbor, she's using her house insurance and stuff like that.
there you go.
But they're only giving her $1,000 to get everything taken care of.
Wow.
Now
The
they're going to replace like the shed that got destroyed or something like that or whatnot. But as far as like getting trees, taking
the
taking
yard
care of and
cleanup.
stuff like that.
Oh,
and, like,
okay. Well, Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's tough. $1,000.
I don't, I personally don't know how much it costs to have a tree taken down. I imagine it's where it's at, how tall it is, or something like
a
that.
couple $100 at least. Usually,
What's the
is
risk?
What I've paid.
Couple $100.
Yeah, and that's for big ones when you just arrange it when there's nothing wrong. But yeah, I guess it depends on
Taking down
a
them
lot
big
of
old
things.
trees.
Mm-hmm.
I just buy
Like
your buddies a
big
case
beech
of beer
trees.
and let it
That's
rip,
what
dry it
usually
out.
we do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yep.
yeah. Shoot, we've only worked like partway through the yard on our side.
Yeah.
Tonight, gotta take down a big old birch tree that's right next to the
those.
house there.
Oh,
Those are scary.
You know.
They kind of crumble sometimes too.
Oh yeah.
Like just because they're so, just how birch trees
Look,
are.
I am not an arbiter. I know enough to get me in trouble, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
All I know is they rot easily and they fall a lot. They can.
yeah.
They're not super heavy, but usually they.
I know they
They fall
burn
apart.
fast,
Yeah.
Big time.
hot.
They're
and-
very porous and
Yeah.
that's why they rot so easily, I think. But yeah.
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 We got that, and then start digging out the trampoline to see if it's even
Oh.
worth anything now.
That's
Yeah.
that's a bummer.
Yeah. But you know what? Everybody's okay. They're all healthy. We got power back. Life's starting to return back to normal. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually fared pretty well compared to I had buddies over at Littlefield Township, like a Lansing area, outside of Petoskey, that they were like day 15, 16.
Oh my gosh.
No,
yeah.
One of
no.
my old educators, he was like 16 days without power in Harbor.
Yeah, I know my
That was-
cousin too.
yeah, Kirsten.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it sucks for her, I'm sure everybody had to deal with this, I'm just speaking from my experience here. They had a bunch of meat in the freezer
Oh,
that
man.
just, they had to throw away and stuff like that.
yeah.
So nice thing is we get that cow every year so we can give them a little bit more, but it sucks having to
Yeah.
throw that out knowing that,
Oh, that's
Right.
a bummer.
I mean, I know insurance covers that stuff too often, but
They just moved in the house. They were there for like 2 weeks and lost power.
Really?
was that it?
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
So much for a
It's like, do we
housewarming.
want to do this claim already? We just got here. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
one of those things.
Well, lucky they didn't have any trees. They had one that came down, but it wasn't on anything, so
That's
they're
good.
good. But yeah, and then as you go on and look in the Facebook page, and you see all the damages from the entire,
Yeah.
that storm and stuff like that. It's absolutely amazing.
It is.
It's like a hand that wiped across the state.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yeah.
only touches certain things. But if you guys seen some of the drone footage that the states put
Yes.
out, oh my God, it's just
And-
like a hurricane.
Oh yeah,
Honestly.
yeah.
And then there was a picture of from space showing how much snow was still, and there was a little dot right over where you guys live, like a
Go figure.
dot of snow,
Hot Seagull area.
and it was
I could-
right in the middle of the hand, and then the rest was all clear. Where I
Right.
live, there's nothing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook also is an awesome tool though, because even with Great Lakes Energy and consumers,
Yeah.
they were posting up updates as far as when to expect power, what was going on, the progression and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, I think that's the only place we were able to get that information.
Yeah.
Consumers
So-
was putting out a lot of stuff. Great Lakes Energy was doing pretty good on their website too.
Yeah.
It's weird, but
What is that? Great Lakes Energy, they do that True Stream too, don't they?
Yep.
Think so. Yeah.
Do you do
They're
that?
the ones.
no, that's what I'm getting here next month, I think.
Yeah,
My
I got the
parents have
sticker on
that.
my door ready to go, but just
Yeah.
waiting for him to get out there.
I got you. Now that's a program that have to sign up for, right? You got to wait for a while before you get it.
Yeah,
Is that
I had to
true?
sign up a couple months ago, and then when they start building out there, they last summer they had already put a bunch of lines out there, I think, and buried stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just getting ready to piece it out, so I don't know how far along they are, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
better than the Agri Valley crap that I have right now. No offense to you guys.
I never heard.
I appreciate your internet, but it's a little slow.
Yeah.
32 megabytes. That's like Iraq Wi-Fi. You know what I mean?
It has a
I can-
buffer every 5 minutes.
Yeah, like watching a movie buffer. Watch Pluto TV at night, trying to go pass out, and all of a sudden it's just buffer. I'm like, shut it off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
worth it.
Well, speaking about Facebook, how's ours coming along?
It's doing
I
pretty
mean,
good.
I think we're over 1,000 followers now.
Yeah, 1,011, I think, followers, and pretty strong network. Let me tell you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to get the word out to as many veterans as possible here and everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah.
podcasts are getting broadcast out there and everything like that. And it seems like it's getting shared by, quite a few different sources now.
Oh yeah. We got a field issued as it looks like from what we just looked at their Facebook page, is a veteran run Facebook page that puts out information locally. They're out of Newaygo, but they've been sharing our podcast and sharing another guy called the Ginger Veteran podcast, which is pretty cool. So it's growing. It's grown like this year alone. We've probably grown about 25%.
So what is it called again?
Field issued.
Field issued.
Yep.
Okay. And what do they do?
So it looks like for what they're promoting, local veteran awareness programs. It's just like a resource directory, pretty much is what it seems like. But I'm sure it's probably a lot more.
I'm sure we'll have to dig into that a little bit more and stuff like that. I mean, you said it was down in Newaygo?
Newaygo, yeah.
Okay.
Can't remember where that is, but
Yeah, it's right before Grand Rapids,
Is
like
it?
near Kent County.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I trust her.
I was gonna say, yeah,
should.
she lived down there. Yeah.
I didn't live near there.
That city
but,
girl, you know what I'm saying?
I just know how to read maps. 'Cause, before we had Wi-Fi and everything back in the day.
That map
guys-
quest,
Map
you know?
quest to get to where.
You guys, yes, MapQuest,
Oh,
where we had to
man.
print our directions off.
Oh my God! I don't know if you guys had to deal with this, but I know if we ever asked for a pass or a leave and we were going to drive to wherever we're going, we had to
Plan.
fill out the request and then have that map request
Really?
there,
Yep.
showing the drive. And if you drove past 6 hours or something like that, you had to put in a pit stop or a rest
Oh wow,
of a
no,
certain
Yeah.
amount of hours.
that did not
You know.
happen.
Really?
Oh, well, as you're doing it, no, but
Right.
but to show
I
it through
never-
the command, and they
Oh,
get
wow.
approval.
Yep.
Yeah, that
we
whole
didn't
packet
have
goes
to do
up.
that in the Air Force. They just
Oh, my
trust us, I
gosh.
guess. I would drive. I remember.
Or they
driving
just
like
didn't care.
18.
They're like,
yeah,
we got insurance on you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Of course. It's all
Yes.
right.
Did you have to wear yellow belts too?
No,
PT belts.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't
Those
think,
things will
wait,
save
know
you from
what?
everything.
We did actually.
Sniper sash.
Gosh, I'm a
An asteroid attack,
Because I was only in a little bit before you guys.
and Tyrannosaurus
joined.
Rex.
Yep.
It'll save us from all sorts of attacks.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we did have those like during tech school, I think.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you feel protected?
No. I
Road
didn't.
guard post.
I was a road guard too, so
I was never road guard. I'm too fat and slow.
Oh man.
I liked it because I got to get away from everybody for a minute.
I don't blame you there.
The one thing I don't miss is formation runs. Period. I don't like to run period,
We
but
didn't do
to
that.
do it in formation.
So painful.
I see. We didn't do that in the Air Force at all,
And you're the runner out of all of us.
and that's why I liked it because then I could run at my own pace.
She likes running because she wasn't forced to beat into submission.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, but I can't imagine being stuck. Like you can't go faster than,
The person in front of you.
Yeah,
dude.
like
Other
you
person
have to
behind
go-
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
got the accordion effect, because you got the
Or
fast
like-
runners and the slow guys.
And I can never
Yeah.
run in a straight line. Like I promise you, I'm like the
I mean,
drunken.
Oh man.
I've seen you when I'm walking on the trails. When we go for
Uh-huh.
lunch. So we have trails near our office. We're lucky,
Yes.
and they're like nature trails and stuff. It's really cool. But Brandon will take off, and I leave a few minutes later to go for one, and Matt goes a different direction or whatever. But I see Brandon walking back toward me, kind of zigzagging. I'm like, what is he doing?
I swear I'm sober.
Right? Listen, you got to act the part while you're still
Right.
are, so that way when you are drunk, there's no
I
difference.
don't even know. Well,
Yeah.
think about how many
That's why-
PT you've done.
It was just too
Right.
much
Still
caffeine.
Oh, my gosh.
freaking like it too.
But that's why you like going on cruise ships because the rougher it is, the drunk or the more sober you feel.
Oh,
Or you act anyways.
I'm afraid to go on cruise ships. Not really afraid. I just have a thing like I'm not really excited
Do you
about
get-
that idea.
Do you get worried being out where you can't see land?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be worried. Like, where do you go if you're stuck?
Yeah.
You
What if
jump.
the pirates come?
Jump.
That's
Pirates do come and get those too.
Do they?
That's why I
Mhm.
find sailors a weird breed because
Just-
who wants to go out in the middle
Also-
of nowhere in a water?
All right,
Yeah.
Navy guy.
Yeah, like I
CB.
see like when there's destinations, that's a cool idea. But then, like, when they had that norovirus outbreak thing, everybody gets it.
Oh yeah.
No. Like, no, thank you.
Come on,
I
let's
don't
do
know.
it. That's all.
And then when COVID happened, I remember all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they were locking people up on the ships.
One of my
like, wouldn't let
relatives
people
was
off.
on there. One of my cousins.
No
I'm so
doubt.
glad we weren't in during
Yep.
that time. Oh,
Oh, buddy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel for the when that was going on. I felt for everybody because everybody just couldn't see nobody, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't leave their barracks rooms, couldn't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
They were having like the cafeteria on base in Gulfport deliver food to some barracks rooms and stuff like
No
that.
shit.
And it was it's like
Like if you were
weirdest thing I've ever seen.
quarantined, I guess they would have to. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I did
Some-
a cruise one time.
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
Where'd you go?
I want to say Bahamas.
I mean, it seems fun, but
It looks
So,
fun.
but it's been so long since I've done it. You know,
yeah.
You couldn't pay me
I-
enough to get on a cruise.
kind of itching to do it again.
I'd rather just go somewhere cool.
Isn't it cool?
Cool. Alaska.
Not cool. Somewhere warm. I want to go to Bali to those cool,
That would be
Fiji.
cool.
or Fiji to the, they got those huts out on the water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like all the movies have them because they get paid to go like work there, work, and then I'm like, oh, you guys playing that?
Work.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
Great.
No, no,
That
no,
song
no,
is
no.
going to be stuck in our head now. One song after the next today.
Yeah.
What was the one earlier?
Oh, I don't know which song was that.
Let me whisper in here.
Yes, that was what it was.
Yeah,
Yin Yang
the
twins.
Yin Yangs.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, we're old.
But talking about like training and going out there and stuff, what about reserves? How they, you know,
Oh yeah, they're 2 weekend. Well, those and
is it 2 weekends a month or?
or a weekend a month, 2
Yeah.
weeks, 2 weeks a year of training, annual training usually, and yeah, because we've had a lot of them calling and asking 'em questions about claiming things,
Which is great.
So
We want the questions.
yes, we do, and we want to make sure that everybody has what they need and they're taken care of.
And everybody's situation is different too.
It is
So there's not one standard
right.
that goes across the board with, you know, everybody's
Yeah.
experience.
Because they hear things, people talk, oh, you should have this and that. You should be qualified. Nobody knows. That's why they call to ask us, and we're glad, because it's not ever going to be accurate if you don't get it from the source, which is us, in lieu of,
So
the actual VBA. So
tell me a little bit something.
So, like if you were in the reserves or guard or any branch, if you were in less than 180 days, you do not necessarily qualify for VA healthcare benefits unless you have a rating on a disability that you incurred in service. Now, sometimes that's kind of tough with reserve and guard, especially if you never deployed or had any active duty time other than training or your weekends. It's really tough sometimes to service connect certain things like hearing loss, for example, because what else were you doing in your lifetime
During that period.
during that period
Yeah.
that may have contributed? Can it really be service connected? They're going to look at all that. And then what else? So, I mean, maybe you got a line of duty injury, and that's simple. I mean, as long as we have the service connection, the medical record
A
showing
record of it, yeah.
so that's a possibility, obviously, but it's not obvious to everybody. So if you wonder, call and ask. Also, anybody that has that claims to have experienced an MST, which is a military sexual trauma, you are qualified for mental health care through VA healthcare. Whether it's rated or not, whether it's whether you have proof or not. If you claim that it happened while you were in, then you can get mental health care for that.
Which is great.
Which we like to remind because that's kind of new. I think last year or the year before. So yeah, we like to kind of not necessarily update, but remind people of that sometimes.
So
Yeah.
So is that the only thing it is? Is that 180 days as
Or-
the only qualifier for, Reserve National Guard?
No, if you were called to active duty on federal orders.
So you have to be called. You have to have some kind of, federal orders that
Federal
you
orders.
were called up on.
Yes, active duty other than training, and I think it has to be federal, not state. Like when I went from active duty to Air National Guard, I've been on state orders, but those were usually training.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in some cases there's places that have stuff for their state, like the floods, or here when we had the ice storms.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if those were federal or they were. I think. So yeah, if you got called to federal duty,
Was that called a federal? Was the one
State
the
of
guys from
emergency?
Well,
Michigan?
in order to qualify for benefits,
Mm-hmm.
for reserve or National Guard, they have to be called up by a federal
federal order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And it will say on those orders.
Mm-hmm. And you'll get a DD 214 after that as well.
Yes.
Oh wow,
Regardless of
Okay.
how long it is, even if it's 2 weeks.
that's wild.
Just like the riots in Detroit, that was one where we had a reservist.
Yep.
What was that hurricane in Louisiana?
Oh, Katrina.
Katrina.
Yep.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of those.
So, and
Yep.
there's a lot in like North Carolina. They had in South Carolina the floods and stuff. So, always ask. Don't ever just assume that you cannot qualify or cannot get help, because rules change, and
But that's the reason
case
why
is
you
different.
also said about the LODs. So
right.
even if somebody didn't get called up to federal,
Yeah.
on federal orders or anything like that, or don't meet the requirements,
If you're rated for a disability.
hmm if you got hurt while you're in the service on your drill time or your 2 weeks or something like that, obviously you're going to be
Yeah.
able to claim that disability, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you get chaptered out for a medical
Right.
reason,
Right.
Yep.
You have to retire or have to separate because of it, and it has to say that on your DD 214. But then, with those injuries, when you do have that stuff, I mean, I'm saying this too for people who might be in right now in the Guard or in active duty or whatever. Keep your records. Like, keep something. If you get hurt, like, keep it in a file somewhere, because you can't always rely on being able to get that necessarily. And then your follow-up care if you go off base. And you know what? Coast Guard. You guys you guys go to all kinds of hospitals and places for your care, and those are a challenge to do. I just did one for one of our guys, our American Legion guys here, and there's some of them go to Navy bases for care, then DOD facilities or Army facilities, depending where they're at, where they're stationed. Sometimes it's just the city hospital where they're near. So those, like, Coast Guard, keep your records from the hospitals. Like, get them from the if you go to hospital, keep them, because we want to be able to help you when you do get hurt. Because sometimes, like, you can have something that continuously gets hurt because it was injured once, and there's records everywhere spread out. This is what happened with this one, and it is tough to track them down and to prove that claim, and we want to, because you deserve the care. So
especially if you think about the time period, like how long are hospitals supposed to hold on to the record? I think it was like 7 years or something like that, right?
it's not very long.
I know we've had vets come in here that had 10 years between the injury and
Or 20.
filing
Yeah.
claim. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and they couldn't find the records because they no longer had them.
Right.
Right. And so that just makes it even more of a challenge.
It is, yeah. And I mean, one thing that helps, it's better than nothing, is that the records were destroyed if the hospital, like, because we have to request records. This happened for me. I went to an off-base hospital for something, and I requested them. I didn't know which hospital. I couldn't remember. One of them just said, we don't show anything. The other one said, we destroyed those records. So that is proof that you went there at some point, but better than nothing. But, just kind of a insight to how we have to go through the claim process. And
Another challenge I've found with reserves or National Guard, is the records maintaining, like you were talking about there.
Yeah.
You know, have a vet that the chain of command, if they were hurt during service or during their period at the drill time or whatnot, they would send them to off-base care or ask them to go to a VA, even,
Okay.
If they're, eligible for it.
Yep.
And
That's all
that
there
doesn't
is.
help. That doesn't help because they want to do it after hours or after their drill weekend. Have them do that,
Right.
you
Because they're not
And now it's not
on duty
exactly
when they go to the hospital.
exactly.
Oh.
So no
Yeah.
LOD issued
Right.
out for it.
Yeah.
I know when I was getting out of the active service, I had never gone to reserves or National Guard, but even in active duty, they were starting to turn over to those LODs as well for any injuries that happened. But I know it was a big thing for reserves and National Guard, and
Oh, yeah.
there's a reason for it,
Yeah.
So if you get hurt, try to insist on that happening,
And there should
that'll
be
make
records, but
that'll make your job a lot easier going
right.
forward.
Like I know someone who had some jet fuel sprayed in their eye from standing behind the jet. It had to go off base at Selfridge to the hospital,
Right.
the local hospital. And I guarantee you right now, if they tried to get those records from that hospital,
Not gonna
they've
get
been
it.
destroyed.
Yeah.
But there should be an incident report too, which is even tougher to get. So, if you get hold of any of that stuff, keep it, because you could have an injury that might need further care in the future, and you have no proof.
Damn, that was
So-
a big yawn.
That was a big
That-
yawn.
That and sign before you sign for your DD 214. Please do yourself a favor and double check your awards, your classes, everything that belongs on there. Don't be like me, and then 10 years later you're going down the road doing your claim work, and you're like, oh, I'm missing like 4 awards and all these classes and all this great educational
Or
stuff.
your deployment time, or
Yeah.
Right.
I was lucky on the deployment time.
Yeah.
They had snuck in my Afghan campaign medal on there with the dates in it, thank God. But a lot of my other guys, and especially in my battalion, it's terrible at throwing people under the bus.
It depends on the
but
person, sadly. That's an
Every
NPF.
branch is the same, in a lot of ways. And a lot of people won't even sign for their DD 214 and just leave,
Oh,
so
yeah.
how hard is it for you to get that changed afterwards?
It's not too hard. I mean, there's a DD 149.
Yep.
I don't know why I always go to 249 or 259, but yeah,
The
DD
249,
Yeah. Huh?
the M249.
Oh yeah, we never got those. I was a 240 guy. I get to lug
I
around
have
the
no idea what you're
paperweight
talking about.
machine gun.
This saw
Yeah,
Okay.
squad automatic weapon.
I had bigger bullets.
Yeah, that's okay.
You guys
No,
have
it was
a lot of
lighter.
fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of jealous about that, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's really easy. Well, I mean, it all depends. It depends on the circumstance, because I've had quite a few changes up on a DD 214 that were like super easy, like a rank. They had something else that showed that they were, in E5, but on their DD 214 it says E4, but
Yeah.
the actual certificate of that next rank is there. It's just
Yes.
as easy as turning that in, and
Yeah.
usually surprisingly within about a month or so, we get something back.
Yeah.
A lot
But-
of them do it like on a quarterly basis. The boards meet for different branches
Yep.
too, so it just depends on the branch when they meet. And
Now the shitty thing is the classes. Like as far as like getting
Taps?
no, as far as on your DD 214 where it says like
yeah.
mine's got like the planning and estimating and gas cutting and welding 1 and 2 and all the stuff, CBR team training, but like stuff like that, it may not seem like a lot like a big thing, but I mean every little piece of it, you should have 2 pages. If you were in 5 years, you should have at least 2 pages of all your classes or something in the back, showing that there's additions to your classwork or your awards or anything like that, but fixing it, that I don't know how easy
Yeah.
that would be, because that would be, each branch does its own educational stuff, I think.
Yeah, we didn't necessarily have all that listed on ours
No.
for Air Force, but
Really?
it would
Like
just
we-
say your AFSC, which is your skill, and it would say like mine was 6FOX, which is finance, and then 5 or a 3, like whatever you're at.
No.
So Yeah, it didn't have all that stuff.
It's weird. Like in each DD-214 is different. It seems like
Oh, yeah,
compared to
they're-
Navy and Marine
yeah.
Corps are kind of the similar. You know, because they are a department of the Navy, even though they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's easier. But then you'll see an Air Force DD-214 and an Army DD-214, and they vastly look completely different as far as like what they put on there. You know,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, and the guard versus the.
Seems like there's no SOP for
Active.
DD-214s, honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
Well-
lucky. Active duty, we had someone that was really good that did that was at MPF. And yeah, I remember it being very tedious, like going over every single thing with us and having us sign. So
Yeah.
now we see a lot of them that say, member unavailable for signature.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
don't let that happen. Make sure you get it before
Be an
you
active
go.
part of it, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So
don't
many
just
people
like,
get
"Oh."
released and they just don't even know.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, wasn't the not having signatures on DD-214s a bad thing? Or it was preventing
I don't know about that.
benefits? I don't know if
No,
that was
I
a
don't think
rumor or
so.
something. But
That I don't know about. I hadn't heard about that one.
it doesn't really matter, does it?
Sorry.
No. As long as it depends on the character of discharge,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the biggest thing that I've seen. You know, I remember when I first started getting into this and seeing how reserves and National Guard, claims go, and I always heard the stories of, their GS, or not GS, their shops. What is it? S13 or S1,
Oh, yeah.
right? All that. The human resources shop is what they're called.
Oh.
Like their sergeant that was in charge of all the records or maintaining it and stuff like that, putting the records in the vehicles, or going back and forth, not having a stable spot for it, because they would have to work on it constantly, right? Or maintain them, keep them, however it was, So whenever the members, the veteran would get out at that point in time, they had no access to the records,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and trying to get a hold of them were pretty hard.
Jeez.
Yeah, I remember in the Guard it was hard to get a hold of the MPF people, even though they were supposed to be there all the time. But yeah,
It's a whole nother breed, though, or
different mindset, kind of it's a different.
mentality.
Yes.
Can you imagine
totally
us all
different.
going in right now with the new military? Like, trying to I'm sure there's everything's changed compared to what,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got in,
All
2013
processes and
compared to
everything.
now? Yeah.
Well, didn't they just change the PT or APFT or the PT test?
I don't know.
So that way everybody does the same one.
Men and women,
And-
same,
and
like
this is-
same level for certain things. I
Well,
thought
I
that was
don't know,
special
but
forces.
this is all just like that hearsay that you read,
Yeah.
you never
whether
know.
it was a real or
right.
Well, I
a
know they've been
meme of
talking
some
about
sort,
the physical therapy, the PT part,
physical therapy for our old asses.
Yeah,
now.
pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, that's, I saw something.
Candy.
No, well, that too. I'm keep staring at that darn thing. But the tests, I heard something about it getting a little bit harder,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I can kind of see as a good thing because you're keeping up the fitness thing, but
Yeah.
not, I don't know. It depends on your job.
Right.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
like running, so
No,
As you can tell.
running's bad.
yeah.
Who does that?
If I'm getting shot at, that never
I
happens. So
used
guess
to
what?
like
I'm
to
not
run
running.
more, but I do now sometimes, but not as much.
Do you still run like?
I do intervals mostly. I don't just run straight miles like I used to.
No.
It's not really good for you, after a certain point. So,
You know what I don't like? I hate running on trails, like
really?
paved trails.
Oh, paved, yeah.
Yeah.
I like being in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
the dirt trail,
Mhm.
or
It's way better on your knees, too.
Better on your
Mhm.
ankles,
That's
better
the
on
thing, is
everything.
it hurts
Mhm.
otherwise.
Yeah.
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 I'm no small individual either. So all that weight just
Squirrels
constantly
running,
hitting you.
birds
Them
getting out of
woodpeckers.
the way.
I'm at war with those. Yeah. Woodpeckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About it
Well, they
every
should
little-
be busy for next year or two.
I was gonna say
Oh,
with the amount
yeah.
of dead trees that's gonna happen,
All
it's
the
really
bugs.
gonna be good for the grubs in those trees.
Yeah.
They keep getting my trees, and they're all good looking trees. But now I'm starting to second guess myself. Like, are these gonna come down in the next couple of years? Ugh.
Yeah, supposedly, like if your tree broke at the top, it ain't gonna go back. It's supposed to,
Yeah.
you gotta
Really?
cut it
Yeah,
down.
it's done.
Yeah.
Dude, Lakes of North is gonna look bare.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be-
Yeah.
I worry
Otsego
about all
County's
those
gonna be bare.
snags too, like in a lot of those trails on the U.S. Forest Service and the state too. Like it's gonna be a busy time.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks too, because I love walking into
Yeah.
a forest where it's like it envelops like the whole thing. It's dark, and then when you walk out, it's nice and sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love the shade from the trees and stuff. That's gonna suck this year.
When's mushroom season coming up?
It's
Should
like
be
in the
right
next
now.
couple weeks, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's still chilly out there. I thought it was supposed to be a little warmer.
Well,
That's good.
let's see, last weekend was Easter. Yeah, I went over to my parents, and the wild leeks were all over the place
no
starting.
shit.
Mhm.
Really?
That's awesome.
Like I could have gotten some then, but they were still not. There wasn't a lot yet. So, but yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So it's probably a good
always
idea
the
to
same
get out there
time.
and start looking.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Asparagus and those and
More sun we
morels.
get.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
And it's all that good stuff that goes really good with steak on the grill.
Yeah.
Yep. All those things.
Morale's the only mushroom I'll eat.
Yeah.
Only.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
I don't know
Because
why.
of the bugs in them?
No, I just that I'm a
Extra
texture person, so I can't do
Yeah?
mushrooms generally. But
Oh.
deep fried morale mushrooms at
Oh.
Legs Inn and Harbor Springs. Oh my god,
Hmm.
Really?
it's the best.
What about like what's that? The mushrooms in a Chinese restaurant?
Shiitake.
No.
I
No?
just wanted to
Just
say
regular-
that word.
I
Like
know.
the little tiny ones?
Yeah, they put some like brown sauce on it or whatever.
Portobello's. Little
Yeah, I mean it is.
Baby
But
bells.
yeah, can you swallow those? And slimy and
Mm-mm.
gooey and
Nope.
warm.
Especially the Chinese buffet kind of style mushrooms.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was
can't do
thinking
it.
of.
I
Yeah.
like
they're
stuffed
good.
mushrooms.
Do you?
Yeah, I'll eat mushrooms. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Good
I like
focus.
me some mushrooms. You ever
Mhm.
been around a mushroom farm? Oh, smelly.
I have a friend who grows them though,
Really?
and yeah, in Kuwait. And yep.
When I was
Smells-
stationed out in Lewis,
yeah.
you know, they had a mushroom farm, and you drive by it and you can smell it.
Oh, was it like a big? Oh,
So
That sounds
it's got to be
crazy.
musty and like a
Mm.
certain way, like all humid and
Got the
Eesh.
funk.
yeah.
that and the paper mill.
Oh yes.
I remember smelling that during Tacoma coming into it.
Oh yeah.
Paper mills are
Alpena
smelly.
used to have one.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. It was the Abitibi place.
Abitibi.
Does anybody know what the Abitibi was? Yep,
It's a paper
that
place.
that was the
I'm not
company.
going to repeat that word because I'll give myself
But that was the
tongue-tied.
smell. Like everybody knew that's what it was, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was just I think it was the company name of the place. Yeah, yeah.
Kinda
That is
crazy,
that
though.
is a different smell for sure.
Right.
Like right now, you think about it, and like, oh, I remember that.
Just like, you know, Iraq, Afghanistan. For
Yeah.
me, like, there's times I'll catch little whiffs of something and it just brings me right back to it, you
Yep.
know?
That
Diesel,
Especially.
hot diesel sand
Mm-hmm.
porta potty
smell.
Oh,
with the
jeez.
stupid mothballs they used to put in them.
Ew. Yeah.
The diesel generators,
Mhm.
right? And you walk by that hot blast of exhaust and the smell of it, and or just like all the burns and stuff, burn pits, or just that general smell.
Yeah, or
You
like
know?
when you knew a sandstorm was coming and
Yeah.
Oh,
the
geez.
smell changed.
I hated
Like
that.
it suddenly, the smell, you could smell it, and then it
Oh.
came
Yeah.
a couple minutes later.
You guys get caught one of those?
Oh, yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
that. And then you got sand in every orifice known to man. You can't get it out. For
You
remember
can't
that.
you can't
Yeah.
stop it. No
Remember
matter
the
what.
goggles, and it felt
The
like
sun,
there was
wind,
always
dust.
a hole in them.
like gritty teeth.
Yeah.
Like
Sun, wind,
crunchy.
dust.
Well, I remember having
goggles.
like a bandana over my face, and
Yep.
yeah, trying to.
Yeah, I remember in the Striker they had the air filter on the side of it or whatnot, and every so often, especially after a sandstorm while we're out there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it would become so clogged up with that.
Oh, I bet. I
shit.
can't imagine.
You
That
know?
was a new thing, like for the military to try to learn how to deal with sand. I mean,
Mhm.
what is this?
You guys
It's
ever
crazy.
see helos land
Yes.
in a sandstorm and then they spark?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No.
The sand when they're
Oh,
taking
because
off.
hitting it so
Definitely.
hard.
It's hitting it so hard that it'll create
Oh.
these sparks. It's the crazy, or like a kind of like a glow. It's the wildest
Ah.
thing. I think I got a picture in my little
That's kind
thing of
of
it, but I just thought that was so fascinating. I'm like,
yeah. That
it's like voodoo.
static.
but it's not. It's just science. It's like,
Mm.
imagine that.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Kind of freaky.
Anybody who'd want to live in the desert is beyond me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty though. I mean, there's
Well,
pretty parts over there. Let me tell you,
yeah.
the mountains
I
are
didn't
beautiful.
see any of it.
Yeah, I would take 15-month tours to Iraq over Afghanistan any day.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh God, yeah.
I just like the weather was a lot better. It wasn't as hot,
Hmm.
but I didn't spend that much time over there.
In Afghanistan, we were trenching through snow during the
Really?
winter,
Oh.
like
jeez.
mid-thigh on me. You know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see why you. I don't blame you.
Okay.
I don't blame
Well,
you.
it was just a different warfare,
Oh, I
right?
mean,
Mm.
I mean, you're going
Different
to
terrain.
desert versus the urban.
like wide
Oh,
open,
yeah.
like close quarters stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's wild.
I was just contained when I was in Saudi within the base, so yeah.
Well, at least you didn't get taken. I saw a movie about that once.
Yeah.
Taken.
Yeah.
Like kidnapped?
Yep.
Hmm.
Really?
You never seen that movie,
Mm.
Taken?
Uh-uh. Taken.
With what's his name?
I don't know. I'm
Is this
really
a
bad.
Sean?
Sean? No, not Sean.
Was
Liam
it,
Nelson.
Oh,
Liam Neeson?
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
His
yeah,
daughter and
yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it was like some kind of military thing. Man. Like you made it out to be it was like some like base, and then I'm like, you know how my mind goes.
I do remember though the third country nationals would joke, about like paying for the women and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was-
I think I've seen a Family Guy episode
Yeah.
about that.
you probably have.
Yeah.
That show has no limits, or nothing's off limits, I should say, for that show.
We were talking about their songs
Yeah.
the other
Oh
week.
gosh. Ever
There's some
tried
good
butter on a
songs.
Pop-Tart?
Yeah. Pop Tart song.
Once you shared that, I was like, so my boys, they're all teenagers, and I'm like, hey, because I showed them that song. Now every once in a while, I'm like, hey, have you ever tried butter on a Pop-Tart? Because they look at me all serious when I say, hey, like I'm going to say something important.
Yeah, right.
Like, shut up, mom.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
The draft happened last night.
Oh, yeah. I know Landon watched it.
Draft.
Oh my God.
Football draft.
Oh,
I am so
I was thinking of like what the draft.
Yeah, we're talking about military stuff.
Right.
You say the draft.
Here's my nerd coming out. I don't listen to sports, so I don't know what it was. Oh man.
Yeah, my kid, like, he watched it. I heard him getting upset about a couple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a defensive tackle from Ohio State.
Is that
Probably
good
why
thing?
he got
So-
mad. It's Ohio.
Right.
I keep forgetting that there's that animosity between
Oh.
Michigan and Ohio.
How
Oh,
do you
God.
forget
So
that?
how do you not
oh my
know that?
gosh.
Yeah.
It always was. It was always
Too
in Florida. It was
funny.
always the Seminoles versus the Gators.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Yeah.
listening to them complain both sides of the family, like. Rah, rah, rah.
And then you got the Hurricanes down there just
Yeah, I don't know
Doing
what
nothing.
purpose they serve at all, but they're down there.
Funny.
That's about it. Sorry, guys. Still love Florida, but wow.
man, yeah. But you stopped that over
I
there.
know the yawning. Well, you started, and then he did, and then
Yep.
I caught it.
It's a trickle.
Yawns are
Ah,
contagious.
there it is.
They
And
are
I just stared right
contagious.
at you when you
now,
did that.
Now, if anybody's watching or listening to this, they're gonna start catching the yawns.
They're gonna listen to this episode and they're gonna be like, "What is going on in that
Right.
office?"
Right.
Yeah, like what are you guys talking about now?
Trying to have fun.
What
I
else
ain't
are
had
we
my
gonna
other pre-workout yet, you know?
Oh yeah,
So.
you better
Other?
drink that.
Well, just like, no, this is BCAAs. So,
Oh okay.
but yeah, I let
Wonder
the
why you're so
pre-workout
hyper,
of the
That's
house.
why.
So, what?
That's his immune.
I was
When I
wondering
do
if
it?
that's why you're so hyper is your pre-workout stuff.
Oh, no.
I want to get you that stiff upper lip. That stuff, that dip. So they make pre-workout dip.
Oh.
Oh.
And they do
Yeah.
those funny military videos, like making fun of the military stuff that we would, understand. It looks like that would keep you railed to the floor, like ready to go all day long. That's the
Yeah,
last-
but then
the last thing we
it
need.
looks like he has chew in his mouth though.
Me?
Like if you have those.
Oh,
do
yeah.
they-
Yeah, I would
Imagine I
assume.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Got me a dip.
Mm-mm.
I tried to do it one time on my first deployment.
I just
I
think
dip
of the
one.
Sandlot
Oh yeah,
stuff.
that was the best
shoe?
though. The projectile vomiting all over
Oh.
everybody and
Mhm.
stuff. Oh, I couldn't
They
even.
were
I couldn't watch
swallowing
that.
it.
I couldn't watch
Like,
that
I've
when I was
never
a kid.
tried it, but yeah.
The old, what is it, Red Man?
Yeah.
Red Man or Beach Nut?
And Grandpa used to do
Oof.
that Red Man.
I like Red Man. That's good.
Just sounds gross. Like I'm like, why would you put that in your mouth? It doesn't taste good.
I saw
Ooh.
something too the other day. I want to send this to Mike Redman up at Mackinac because I know he's gonna laugh. The dirty tanker thing. The smell of a tanker, Copenhagen. What are y'all laughing at? I totally lost.
He's delirious. That's all.
What'd she say that was funny?
He doesn't know.
about a dirty tank.
Well, yeah. This apparently went right above my head. I'm gonna listen to this when I get home, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh God."
We're just tired.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired.
Well, there it is.
Talk about Redmond and a
Yep.
dirty tank. Go ahead.
I was just thinking of dip. I was
Oh,
just thinking of dip because every tanker I've ever met, it's always got like Copenhagen under a leopard.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
yeah.
dips, yeah.
seems like a lot of
Dirty boys.
like
telling
military
you.
guys just in general did.
We did it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you couldn't smoke. Like I was
Yeah,
always
right.
at 50 cal or 240. So when I was stuck on that gun, and I always got freaking nights.
Mhm.
You know, you can't smoke a cigarette because they'll see you. If somebody's
yeah.
got nods
Well,
on or
yeah.
something, they'll see you
Yeah.
a mile away. So I went from as soon as it went dark out, put the cigarettes away, and went right to the dip.
Mhm.
Had to have
Yeah.
some kind of nicotine, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's good for the military. Caffeine and nicotine.
That's about it, right?
It's weird because I never really had I never drank coffee or anything. I drank some of the energy drink stuff,
Did you?
but not on a regular basis. But that was also back when those what are those pills that were like diet pills back then that had a lot of caffeine?
Oh, yeah.
And then they ended up banning them.
It was like
And
the
they
gas
had, they had
station
a
pills.
veteran in it, too, didn't
Yes,
they?
it did.
Yeah.
It sure did. It was
Yeah.
very helpful.
That's crazy.
I was able to focus really well on my job.
I bet.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that stuff was great. Yep.
They get rid of all the fun shit. You know that?
They
yeah,
do.
well,
All the stuff that works.
No more Jolt
Yeah.
Cola. No more of this crazy.
right. Yep.
But yeah, we still have Monster cans with 300 milligrams of,
Mm-hmm.
caffeine in it.
Well, the pre-workout stuff too. It's like 320
Oh, Jesus.
Mhm.
You know.
grams of caffeine. It doesn't really phase me.
Ding
Um,
dong. Well, looks like we got
Somebody's-
somebody.
Yeah. All right,
Well-
guys. Well, it was great being back on here, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Yeah, enjoyed the sun.
See you next week, Antrim County.